What are some street smarts everyone should know? I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood in Chicago, and probably the best thing you should do when walking by yourself at night is pay attention to every car. Usually they'll drive past you and scope you out. If you look like a target, you'll see that car again, or they'll meet you farther down your path while you're walking past an alley. Always be ready for something when walking past an alley and stay close to the houses, that way if anything's suspicious, you can run into a backyard. If someone asks your shoe size, start walking laughing out loud. This gave me some bad memories of growing up in a crafty neighborhood. "Hey bro, what size shoes you got?" is not a question you want to hear at 1 a.m. on a Friday night from someone you didn't even see. The only correct answer is not yours. Edit. See the reply from user MeXSA cheating war for an effective alternative. Reddit link. No, it's my size, mother effer. Before using any ATM, tug hard on the plastic card reader. Scammers often put a fake one on top that steals your info. This happens a lot to outdoor card readers at gas stations too. When I worked at a gas station, one of our daily tasks was going to all the pumps, ATMs, and card readers to give them a pull/jiggle and a visual inspection for shenanigans. I took it very seriously. I'd run my hands all over the keys and stuff and basically try and tug the entire faceplate off. These skimmers can be either small hidden things in the card reader or an entire identical front of the machine that snaps over it like a second skin. It takes less than 5 seconds for someone to put these things on. They just walk by and, click, all done. Lock your doors as soon as you're in your car. Is that stranger being overly nice to you? Are you on the sidewalk? Are you alone? The reason it feels like something is wrong is because something is wrong. Don't ever tell the cab driver you don't know where you're going. I sat here like an idiot trying to figure out what you were saying because I read it as don't ever tell a cab driver you don't know where you're going, and I'm like, but you need to, that's like the point of a cab. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Had an experience with this once. 2 masked guys on bikes came up to me and my friends and asked if we wanted some free weed. They showed me something wrapped in tin foil. Immediately declined. Still wonder what their scam was. If you are in any sort of confrontation and someone balls their fist and looks away for a second, or even just looks away for a second, you should be prepared for the possibility of a sucker punch. I just posted something similar. Good advice as well. The look away is the tell. Usually to catch you off guard, make you look at what they're facing instead of his swing. Multiple reasons. A. To hide. Our brains are wired to recognize a gaze immediately, so them looking away will theoretically calm you down and make you lower your guard. B. To see who's there. Someone about to do specifically a sucker punch is usually making sure they're at the advantage in the situation. It is a cheap tactic. C. Taking eyes off of the opponent dehumanizes them in your brain, allowing you to shift from a social conversation mode into fight mode, so it's actually a subconscious thing in this way too. Be aware of your surroundings and trust your gut. Women should not be afraid to appear rude. The book Gift of Fear has lots of great info. Wear shoes you can run the F away in. Street smarts to give your kids. If you get lost, find the closest adult with kids. I saw this in action once at Disneyland when a 4-year-old kid approached me and my kiddos while we were eating. She joined us very calmly, introduced herself, and said her parents gave her the above advice. I heard her parents shouting her name not long after, and the relief on their faces was a sight. This is good advice. I told my nephews to go to the nearest person running cash register, in a store or at a cart. These people are not likely to move and can summon help. Also, it gives me a focus on where to look. This was my parents' advice, as well. Go to where you are most visible, i.e. if you get lost in a store, go to the front by the cash registers. I'm still alive, so it must have worked. That's a very smart 4-year-old. I got lost once, while hiding inside hung clothes in the department store, somehow got to the information desk but I was bawling my eyes out the whole time. I remember somebody younger than me, also lost, just staring at me like WTF are you crying so much about? Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. They are appreciated. There's actually some statistics behind things like this. Even if you ignore the adults with kids thing, the chances of the person you seek out wanting to do you harm is very low. However, if you allow yourself to be picked out by someone, the chances that that person will do you harm increases. Simple reason is bad people go out their way to seek out the vulnerable. Edit. Lots of people are saying they feel wrong for helping people. Don't. You've done nothing wrong and shouldn't feel bad for helping people and should continue to do so. The point is that if you are ever in trouble, ask for help. Don't be embarrassed and don't wait for someone to help you. Teach your children they should ask for help straight away. The bigger the group, the better. Parents with children are a good choice. Maybe ask for help from 2 different groups of people. Some kids are shy and may try to hide away when they get scared. You don't want that. Tell them to stand in the busiest place near to them and start asking for help. It also works if you're older. If you're too drunk, can't phone a taxi, don't wander around looking vulnerable. Ask someone to call a taxi for you. I don't know why this comment creeped me out so much, even though I'm safely in my home and it's good advice. It's just creepy. Sorry to creep you, but when you think about every time someone like that gets caught and you see them on the news, they have always moved themselves into a position where they can prey on their victims. Jimmy Savile, Charles Manson, and Ted Bundy, etc., they all moved themselves into a position where they could find and exploit their victims in a premeditated way. Nobody approaches you on the street because they want to do something for you. It's always because they want something from you. You won't get mugged if you look like you're going to mug someone. That reminds me of a comedian. He was going about the scales of not getting mugged/fought, and he was like, act crazy. No one is going to try and fight a crazy person. Is that the guy who said nobody's going to mug him because he looks like Duck Dynasty and Game of Thrones had a baby? If a group of people suddenly get down, so do you. There's a piece of US Air Force regulations or something that more or less states, if you see an ordnance technician, bomb tech, running, follow them. Maxim number 3, an ordnance technician at a dead run outranks everybody from the 70 maxims of maximally effective mercenaries. My favorite maxim is number 43, if it's stupid and it works, it's still stupid and you're lucky. Dancing intensifies. Get down on IT. I was walking in North Minneapolis to the gas station with my headphones in. Pretty busy main street that runs through it, Lowry. I'm listening to music and I noticed everyone just dropped to the ground. I had no idea what the F was going on, so I was looking around. Why is everybody on the ground? Me not putting 2 and 2 together. Someone had just did a drive-by on another car about 200 feet up the street. Real scary crap. Edit. 200 feet may be a bit of an over-exaggeration. It happened so fast I was up by where it happened within what felt like seconds. Whoever was in the car wasn't there when I got up the street to the scene. The car was at a dead stop up against the curb with the windows spider-webbed. This was by Solo Foods and what was AA before Mark died, for those of you that are from the area. This was about 6 or so years ago. Holy crap, bro, turn your music down a little. Always know where the exits are in any place that you enter so that you don't get lost in an emergency. Also, never place yourself in a hole in public where there is only one entrance and exit and no other people around. These are often crime hotspots. When we would, rarely, go out to eat as a family, my pops would only sit facing the door. I never thought anything of it until I was grown. I think it's something that anyone who has training in emergency or protection services do reflexively. For emergency services, you want to know if there's a fire how to get out, and if there's a medical emergency how to get the patient out, spine board in. For protection services, you're so used to being on alert that you can't relax if you don't have eyes on the entrance. Well, he was in the military, but he also grew up in Compton. Laughing out loud when I moved out and lived with like 6 people in a house for college, I had instincts or patterns that I had to break down for my housemates all the time. Really helped since we lived in the sketchy part of town. When it comes to knife fights, the loser dies in the street. The winner dies in the hospital. First rule of knife fighting: you're going to get cut. And not just like cool cut the way they show in movies, tendons severed, veins, arteries. Chances are you'll be effed up for life afterwards. And likely facing felony charges as well. I've learned the best defense against a knife, if you can't run, is pick up a chair and shove the legs into the dude while throwing low kicks, or swinging a coat over their hand. The first worked for me exactly once with a drunk dude in a bar. I got lucky because he was hiding the knife under a coat in his hand and someone tipped me off. I swung the chair while he still had the knife covered, and bouncers got on him super quick. The second worked for a training buddy of mine who got accosted in SF overall. Either scenario could have ended badly. There's a lot of luck involved in street fights. You are extremely lucky and I'm glad you're okay. I remember there was a knife self-defense video that sort of dispelled the romanticism of fancy knife disarming. Basically the instructor was like, okay, defend against this and attack the guy with a fake knife, but did it prison style, stabbing him as fast as he could all over. The guy had no answer for it. He was pretty humbled by the experience. He really thought he could do better defending it. Yes, it was one of those things where afterwards, I was like, that could have gone really badly. One of those times when the guy left and came back. As I learned from my cop uncles, when they come back and look confident, they went out to get a weapon. We've done lots of fighting drills in our dojo, Japanese JJ, with fake knives. At full speed, you always get cut. Under 20 feet or so, the knife beats a holstered gun. We use water pistols. As my sensei says, the graveyard is full of men who thought they could handle the situation. If it comes to knife fights, run. If you're going to be away on holiday or somewhere you're unfamiliar with for any length of time, it's a good idea to try to always make sure that someone knows roughly where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing on a given day. Even if you're like me and you don't like to plan out a full itinerary, a rough indication of what your plans might be can help work out your movements if ever there is an issue. But don't post about being on holiday, even vacation photos, until you get back. No need to advertise you are gone and your home is possibly empty. And if a guy dressed as a cop comes by asking about your house's security and holiday plans, don't tell them you're going to Paris. It's fine if you also leave your 8-year-old son behind, they are excellent theft deterrents. Tried that, and now my basement stairs are covered in tar. That crap's impossible to clean up properly. And if you're taking an Uber to the airport with lots of luggage, maybe mention how you're glad to be getting away from your gun nut roommate and his 2 giant dogs for a while. I just tell them I had to leave the house for a few days so animal control could take care of the rattlesnake nest. From experience, if you're alone on the street and you think you're being followed, immediately call someone, forget about conversation starters, and give away your location. You should add, I think I'm being followed. Speak loudly enough so the person you think is following you hears you doing it. If you're right and they were following you, that will be a big turn off. If you're wrong, you have nothing to lose. It might sound harsh, but if anyone approaches you and asks to use your phone for anything, especially emergency related, don't fall for it. They will usually tell you what the emergency is, so walk away, tell them you don't have a phone/whatever, and for your inner peace call the emergency and give away that person's location. Tell them exactly what the person told you. Either they really needed help and you're sending it their way, or they try to trick you into something horrible and will most likely try it again with the next passerby. Whenever you are, plan ahead and blend in with the crowd. I mean, don't dress all fancy in the hood kind of thing. Please, for the love of God, stop using your earphones while on the street. At least try to only have one earbud in if you can't help it. It's not healthy, ear fatigue, potential risks to your hearing, etc., but at least it won't completely cover the background noises. Edit. I wouldn't imagine this would explode, I just wanted to be helpful. Thank you for the awards and replies, I love to read everyone's experiences. Please stay safe. Point number 4 is especially important. If you are a runner, you can't hear an attacker run up behind you or a vehicle approaching if your headphone or earbuds are in. Nature gave you your hearing for a reason. Do not trust taxi drivers if you are a tourist. I'm not a tourist and I still don't trust taxi drivers. Right. My roomie and I were leaving the pub once and the cabbie assumed because she was very drunk I must be too. He started taking a very scenic route to our apartment and I asked him WTF he was doing, get back on the main route or let us out. He was like, oh sorry, wrong turn. MF, trying to take advantage of drunk people for more money. Crafty for him. I am a big tipper, he got nothing. Got a friend with the habit of checking the routes, GPS tracking, the day afterwards and just demanding a refund whenever they take a scenic route. Dudes saved hundreds. If you're walking and someone approaches, don't break stride. You can carry on a conversation while walking, but people who are looking to proselytize, sell you something, or mug you will want you to slow or stop to address them. If they want to chat, make them keep up with you. You can even tell them that you're in a rush but would love to talk and walk. They'll likely find someone more stationary, because if you can make a person slow, you can make them stop. If you can make them stop, you've already adjusted their priorities and placed yourself at the top. It's a subtle power game. Keep going where you're going, and you retain your power. Stop and cat, and you've given it up and opened yourself to possible problems. This is the answer. You owe no one on the street anything. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.